The signal came in a quiet flash, piercing the endless dark of space. On the bridge of the small alien council ship, advisors crowded together, their limbs trembling and voices sharp with fear. We have no time," one whispered. "Humanity has answered our call." The aliens had expected peacekeepers. Gentle, polite diplomats who would calm the chaos, negotiate treaties, and leave without leaving scars. But what appeared before their eyes was nothing like that. A fleet of massive ships, so large that even the largest moons looked small beside them, emerged from hyperspace. Their hulls gleamed with cold metal under the distant light of a dying star. Energy lines pulsed along their sides, and weapons, hundreds of them, hung like silent predators waiting to strike. They were dreadnoughts, legends whispered about across the galaxy. Humanity had sent its dreadnoughts. The alien council gasped. One elder staggered back, claws clattering against the metal floor. This is not what we asked for," she said. Her voice cracked. "We called for peace, not warships." Yet, the ships moved as one, precise and controlled. They did not attack immediately. They did not fire indiscriminately. But their presence alone was a message. Humanity did not negotiate the way others did. Humanity did not hesitate. Humanity came prepared. Inside the command center of the largest dreadnought, the human captain stood tall. Her eyes scanned the holographic maps floating in the air. "We protect," she said calmly. "We do not negotiate with those who strike first. Ready all defenses. Prepare the boarding teams if needed. They are counting on us, and we will not fail." Her voice was calm, yet firm, a sound that carried authority without anger. The crew moved like clockwork, responding to every order before it was fully spoken. Every system hummed in perfect harmony, shields charged, weapons aligned, engines ready. The dreadnought was alive, a beast of steel and fire, yet controlled by human hands. Below, on the surface of the attacked planet, cities burned. Alien civilians ran through streets, their screams echoing across the scorched plains. Their attackers were fast, relentless, and cruel, striking without mercy. Children hid under collapsed buildings. Families clutched each other in terror, praying for salvation. And then they saw the sky. At first, it was a tiny glimmer, a distant streak of light against the black. Then, more lights followed, dozens, hundreds, until the horizon was full of them. The dreadnoughts descended slowly, their shadows swallowing the horizon. The attackers paused, their formation trembling. They had never seen ships this large, this fast, this impossible. Their weapons faltered. Fear crept into their ranks. A human ship detached from the fleet, moving toward the planet's surface. Its hull reflected the burning cities below, but the humans made no mistake. They fired warning shots into the air, creating a clear line of communication. No bombs fell on civilians. No lasers cut through homes. Humanity had arrived, but they were not saviors in the way the aliens expected. They were something stronger, something precise and unstoppable. On the council ship, alien leaders whispered frantically. "What are they? Why do they bring so much power?" one asked. "Are they here to save us, or to judge us?" The questions were sharp, but none of them had answers. They could see only the dreadnought's silent promise. The humans would not allow injustice to continue, but they would not bend to fear either. The captain of the dreadnought watched the enemy lines through the viewport. Alien ships skittered like frightened insects across the void. "Prepare the stun protocols," she ordered. "We take no lives if we can avoid it. Show them what humanity is capable of." A ripple of energy pulsed from the dreadnoughts, a warning wave that disabled the attackers' engines without destroying a single hull. The alien soldiers screamed in confusion. Their weapons failed. Panic spread faster than any human could have fired a shot. Humanity had arrived, not to destroy recklessly, but to control the chaos with precision that left even the attackers terrified. On the planet, civilians stared at the sky in awe. Hope, long buried under fear, sparked in their hearts. Perhaps they were not alone. Perhaps someone had come to protect them, someone who would not flinch in the face of danger. The humans were massive, unstoppable, and yet disciplined. They were a force unlike any the galaxy had seen before. The alien council huddled together, debating their next move. They had asked for peacekeepers, but humanity had sent dreadnoughts. And the message was clear: if you strike first, humanity will strike back, not with vengeance, but with absolute, unstoppable order. The captain gave one final order before the ships took formation around the planet. "We protect life," she said. "We do not bow to fear. We do not negotiate with evil. Humanity has arrived." And with that, the dreadnoughts hung in orbit, massive and unyielding. The attackers knew the battle had changed. The civilians dared to hope. And the aliens, who had called for peace, realized that the humans were something far greater than they had ever imagined. Humanity did not come as negotiators. Humanity came as a reckoning. And the galaxy would never be the same. The alien council watched from their ship as the humans moved with precision. Their dreadnoughts circled the planet like silent guardians. No missile struck the cities. No laser cut through innocent lives. Yet the aliens could feel the power in every movement of the humans' massive ships. One of the council members, a tall, thin alien with gray-scaled skin, leaned over the viewports. "They do not negotiate," he said. "They do not ask for permission. They act as if the galaxy belongs to them." His voice was trembling. "They act as if they are responsible," another replied. "Their power, it is frightening. But somehow, it feels like hope." The humans were not idle. Scouts moved quietly toward the enemy ships, scanning them, reading their systems, calculating every move. It was not just a display of firepower, it was a demonstration of skill, of intelligence, and of strategy. Every human crew member knew exactly what to do, and every action seemed to follow a plan far beyond what the aliens could comprehend. Below, the invaders were in disarray. They had never faced an enemy like this. Machines that could think, predict, and disable them without a single human leaving the safety of their dreadnoughts. Some fled toward the gas giant, hoping to hide. Others attempted to regroup, but panic had spread like wildfire. Their formations collapsed under the silent pressure of humanity's presence. The captain of the lead dreadnought observed the chaos through the viewport. "They are nervous," she said. "Good. Keep them off balance. Disable, do not destroy. We protect life, but we control the battlefield." A small detachment of humans moved closer to the surface, lowering sleek hovercrafts that glided silently above the burning cities. Alien civilians stared as the humans landed, weapons ready but not pointed at anyone. Soldiers approached the survivors, offering protection, assistance, and supplies. It was clear, humanity's arrival was not about conquering, but about defending. The alien council, however, still worried. "Why do they bring such power?" one asked. "We called for peacekeepers, not warships. Do they not understand subtlety?" The captain's voice cut across the communication line. "We understand peace," she said. "But peace without strength is useless. We will protect life. We will not negotiate with cruelty. Humanity has always faced impossible odds, and we do not fail." The council members shivered. Their planet had called for help, and now they had it. But help came with a weight heavier than they had imagined. The humans were not merely saviors. They were judges, warriors, and protectors rolled into one. Every action carried purpose. Every movement, a lesson. The scouts discovered something strange near the gas giant, a signal buried in the planet's magnetic storms. It was faint but powerful, almost alive, sending pulses into the void. The captain frowned. "Prepare a team," she said. "We investigate. Keep the civilians safe. I want answers before we face any more attacks." The alien council panicked. "Do not touch it," one shouted. "It is ancient. Dangerous. It could destroy everything." "Then we will take precautions," the captain replied calmly. "We do not fear the unknown. We prepare, we analyze, and we act." That is humanity. Meanwhile, the invaders regrouped for a counterattack. Their ships moved in tight formations, hoping to overwhelm the humans. But the humans were ready. Dreadnoughts shifted positions with incredible speed for their size. Energy shields flared and redirected incoming fire harmlessly into space. When human weapons fired, it was precise, surgical, disabling enemy engines and weapons without unnecessary destruction. The aliens below the humans' landing site watched in awe. They whispered among themselves, afraid to speak loudly. "These are not ordinary warriors," one said. "They think faster, act faster, and strike with perfect control. Their power, it is unlike anything we have seen." A small group of human soldiers moved into the city ruins, rescuing trapped civilians and guiding them to safe zones. Children clung to their legs, crying and whispering words of gratitude. Families, who had given up hope, now dared to breathe freely. Humanity was here, and it felt as though a heavy shadow had lifted. Back in space, the Council argued furiously. "We asked for peacekeepers," one alien said. "We did not expect this. We cannot predict them. We cannot control them." "They are not here for us to control," another replied softly. "They are here to protect. That is their way. That is humanity." The captain received reports from the scouts near the gas giant. "We've found something unusual," a human officer said. "A strange artifact. It is emitting signals, but it is inactive. For now." "Then we stay ready," the captain said. "We protect life. We will face whatever comes. Humanity does not shrink from danger. We meet it head-on. That is our way, and that is what will save this system." As night fell across the planet, the humans remained vigilant. The dreadnoughts loomed overhead, silent sentinels watching over the cities. The civilians slept safely under their watch. The alien council, once terrified and unsure, now felt a strange mixture of fear and awe. Humanity had arrived. And in a universe where terror and destruction often ruled, humans had shown that courage, intelligence, and discipline could change the course of events. For the first time, the aliens realized something important. Humanity was not just a race among many. Humanity was a force of nature, unyielding, unstoppable, and merciful when it chose to be. And the galaxy, they knew, would never forget this day. The artifact floated silently near the gas giant, half hidden in its swirling storms. It was old, far older than any alien civilization in this system. Its surface shimmered with strange symbols, glowing faintly in pulses that seemed almost like a heartbeat. The humans had never seen anything like it, and yet they approached it with confidence, not fear. The captain of the lead dreadnought stood on the observation deck, her eyes fixed on the artifact. "Scan it thoroughly," she ordered. "We need to know what it is before it becomes a threat. Keep shields up and weapons ready. Humanity does not gamble with the unknown." The crew worked quickly, deploying drones and probes. Each device sent back data, but the artifact seemed to resist all attempts to understand it. Energy readings spiked and dropped unpredictably. Its signals twisted in ways no one had ever encountered. The humans were careful, but the artifact's presence made even them uneasy. On the council ship, the aliens watched in fear. "Do not touch it," one screamed. "It is dangerous. It could destroy the planet." The captain's voice was calm, unshaken. "We take precautions. But hiding from the unknown does not solve anything. Humanity faces challenges, studies them, and finds solutions. That is what we do." Meanwhile, the invaders, disorganized but cunning, saw the artifact from afar. They recognized its power before the humans did. Their warships moved closer, hoping to claim it for themselves. If they controlled the artifact, the entire system could be theirs. But the humans were ready. The dreadnoughts repositioned, forming a protective circle around the probe team. Weapons hummed with energy, shields flared, and drones patrolled the area. Humanity did not need to attack yet. Their mere presence was enough to keep most enemies at bay. Precision and preparation were their weapons, and they used them better than anyone. A small group of human specialists boarded a smaller craft, descending toward the artifact. They studied it carefully, their fingers tracing the symbols that pulsed with light. "It's not a weapon, not yet," one said. "But it has energy stored inside. Something dangerous." "Then we neutralize it," the captain replied. "We do not destroy unnecessarily, but we cannot allow a threat to exist." Below, the alien council whispered among themselves. "They approach it without fear," one said. "No other species would dare. Humans, they are different." The invaders made their move. Fast, small ships zipped through the storms, firing blindly. Their weapons missed, deflected by human shields. Some tried to board the drones, but humans were ready for that too. Drones intercepted, disabling enemy systems with precision. Every move humans made was calculated, controlled, perfect. The alien civilians, watching from the surface and from orbit, felt a mixture of hope and awe. The humans were protecting them again, but this time it was more than that. They were dealing with something ancient, something incomprehensible, and yet they did not falter. The lead dreadnought fired a warning pulse at the intruders, not lethal, but enough to disable engines and force retreat. The invaders hissed and fled, but they would not give up easily. Their curiosity and greed for the artifact would bring them back. The human specialists finally got close enough to examine the artifact directly. One traced the glowing symbols carefully. "It's a kind of memory," he said. "A record of an ancient civilization. Or a weapon. I'm not sure which." "Then we keep it contained," the captain said. "Safety first. Humanity protects life, but we do not take chances with the unknown." The artifact's light pulsed faster, almost as if it were aware. The humans froze. Even with all their courage, they understood something. This artifact had power, intelligence, or both. It could change everything in the system if mishandled. Back on the planet, civilians whispered rumors to each other. "The humans are not just warriors," one said. "They are guardians. Something stronger than anything we have ever known." The council members, still trembling, realized the truth. Humanity did not just bring firepower. They brought discipline, courage, and wisdom. They could face unknown threats that would terrify any other species. And they did so without losing control. The captain turned back toward the observation deck, her gaze sharp and steady. "We are ready for whatever comes," she said. "We do not back down. The unknown will not surprise humanity. We will protect life. That is our duty. That is who we are." The artifact pulsed again, and the storms of the gas giant swirled around it violently. Something ancient stirred. The humans watched, prepared, calm. The alien council could only wonder what this strange race had brought into their system. And far beyond the storm, in the darkness of space, eyes watched. Something older, more dangerous, had noticed the humans. For now, the system was safe. Civilians were alive, enemies defeated or retreating, and the artifact was contained. But the first signs of a greater threat were already appearing. Humanity had proven itself, yes, but the galaxy was vast, and the true test of their courage and skill was yet to come. And in that moment, the alien council understood something essential. When humanity arrived, it did not come to negotiate. It came to defend, to protect, and to conquer fear itself. The stars were quiet for now. But soon, they would scream. The calm of space shattered in an instant. The enemy armada, scattered and humiliated by humanity's precision, had regrouped. Their ships moved in jagged formations, desperate to overwhelm the humans. They fired blindly, hoping sheer numbers would tip the balance. The humans did not panic. The dreadnoughts shifted as one, their massive forms twisting in space with surprising speed. Energy shields flared, reflecting blasts harmlessly into the void. Each weapon fired in calculated precision, targeting enemy engines, weapon systems, and control centers. Not a single shot hit a civilian craft below, not a single innocent life was harmed. Humanity's discipline was absolute. The alien council watched from orbit, their claws gripping the railings. "They are controlling the battle," one whispered. No other species could manage such power without chaos. The lead Dreadnoughts captain stood at the command deck, eyes scanning the enemy formations. "Focus fire on the largest ships," she ordered. "Disable them first. Keep the smaller ships away from civilians. We control the fight, we do not end it unnecessarily." The human crew moved like a single organism. Drones flitted across the battlefield, intercepting missiles and boarding attempts. Energy pulses disabled enemy shields in perfect sequence. Enemy captains could not comprehend the speed and precision of their attacks. They scrambled desperately, but every move was anticipated. Humanity was always one step ahead. The alien civilians, watching the battle from below, felt a mixture of fear and awe. Cities had been burning, and yet here were humans, massive and unstoppable, protecting life with unmatched skill. "They are incredible," one whispered. "They are not just warriors. They are guardians of everything we hold dear." On the planet's surface, the air shimmered as human strike teams neutralized enemy units without harming infrastructure. Hovercraft glided silently over burning streets, evacuating civilians and disarming traps. Every action was measured, precise, and purposeful. Humanity's presence was not just power, it was control, intelligence, and compassion rolled into one. The enemy tried to board the human ships, small crafts darting toward the Dreadnoughts. But drones intercepted them, disabling engines and weapons instantly. Some enemy pilots attempted desperate kamikaze attacks. The humans responded without anger, only efficiency, neutralizing threats before they could harm anyone. The alien council whispered in fear. "No species has ever fought like this. They are different. They are perfect in battle." Even as the enemy retreated, signals indicated reinforcements approaching from the far edge of the system. Humanity anticipated this, shifting positions to create defensive perimeters around the planet and the artifact. Every human ship knew its role, every crew member knew their duty. There was no chaos, no hesitation. The captain observed the largest enemy vessel through the viewport. Its hull was cracked, engines failing, weapons offline. "Prepare boarding teams," she said calmly. "We will capture it intact if possible. We gain intelligence, not vengeance." The boarding teams descended in sleek pods. They moved silently, swiftly, neutralizing enemy soldiers and securing data cores. Every human moved with a purpose, with precision, and with discipline. No unnecessary deaths, no careless mistakes. Humanity's tactics were flawless. The alien civilians below dared to hope. The humans were not just saviors, they were a force of nature, unstoppable, disciplined, and merciful. The invaders' retreat was complete. Their once feared fleet was shattered, reduced to scattered survivors fleeing for safety. The lead Dreadnoughts captain addressed the crew over the communication network. "Well done. Every life protected. Every threat neutralized. Humanity does not strike recklessly. We fight to defend, not to destroy. Remember that. That is what makes us strong." The council members on their ship watched in stunned silence. "They do not fight for glory," one said softly. "They fight for life. And yet, they are terrifying." Even the artifact near the gas giant pulsed faintly, as if observing the humans. It had yet to awaken fully, yet the humans had already proved themselves capable of handling dangers beyond imagination. The alien civilians cheered quietly from their shelters, whispering thanks into the night. Humanity had saved them, and yet it was clear this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, filled with threats and mysteries, but one thing was certain. Wherever humans went, fear would meet discipline, chaos would meet strategy, and oppression would meet unyielding courage. The stars were calm again, but the Dreadnoughts remained in orbit, massive and unyielding. The captain gazed into the darkness, knowing that the next battle would be harder, more dangerous. The artifact's pulses hinted at secrets yet unknown, and somewhere far beyond the system, unseen forces were awakening. And still, humanity stood ready. Not as conquerors, not as negotiators, but as protectors. Their strength was unmatched, their resolve unshakable, and their mercy deliberate. The galaxy would come to learn one simple truth: when humanity arrives, it does not falter. And the Dreadnoughts waited silently, watching the stars, prepared to meet whatever came next. The alien council gathered once more, their bodies trembling in the quiet of their ship. They had watched the humans fight, seen them protect life, destroy only what was necessary, and move with precision no other species could match. Yet still, fear lingered. "They are too powerful," one elder said. "We cannot predict them. Even their mercy terrifies me. They do not fight like any other race. They are unstoppable." Another shook her head. "Do you not see? They are saving lives. They fight for justice, not for conquest. This is not power without purpose, it is discipline, courage, and wisdom. They are human." Below, on the planet's surface, civilians began to emerge from hiding. Children held their parents' hands tightly, eyes wide with awe. They whispered stories to each other about the massive ships in orbit, about the humans who had landed among the ruins, and about the soldiers who moved like shadows, protecting everyone from harm. Humanity had become something larger than legend, a force that inspired hope in even the darkest moments. But the Council's attention was drawn elsewhere. Reports came in from the scouts near the artifact. The energy pulses were growing stronger, faster, almost as if the object itself was alive. The humans had not yet touched its core, but it was clear that its power was awakening. The captain of the lead dreadnought watched the data, her brow furrowed. "We need to contain it," she said. "We cannot allow anything to activate unexpectedly. Prepare containment fields and defensive protocols. Humanity faces the unknown head-on, but we do not act recklessly." One of the council members finally spoke, her voice trembling. "Do you not fear that it could destroy everything? Even with your skill, humans, can you stop it?" The captain's answer was calm, unshakable. "We do not fear. We prepare. Humanity has faced impossible odds before. We act with intelligence, discipline, and courage. That is why we survive. That is why we protect others. That is our way." Meanwhile, among the enemy remnants, dissent grew. Some of the alien soldiers began whispering of betrayal. They claimed the humans were not saviors but monsters in shining armor. They tried to sabotage the humans' equipment, hoping to turn the tide, but they underestimated the humans' vigilance. Every trap was discovered. Every sabotage attempt foiled. Humanity's attention to detail was unmatched. The dreadnoughts shifted positions again, forming a protective net around the planet and the artifact. Energy beams traced intricate patterns through space, creating barriers the enemy could not penetrate. Any attempt to breach the perimeter was neutralized immediately, with minimal destruction. The humans were patient, disciplined, and merciful. On the planet, the civilians whispered among themselves. "They are not like anyone else," one said. "Even when they fight, they do not destroy. They protect. They are humanity." The artifact pulsed violently, startling the human specialists observing it. Its glow increased, sending waves of energy that made instruments spike and alarms sound. The captain's voice cut through the communication channels. "Contain it now. Focus all energy into the stabilization field. Humanity does not back down from the unknown, but we do not risk unnecessary loss of life." The containment field activated, glowing with a soft blue light that surrounded the artifact. Slowly, the pulses stabilized. For a moment, silence fell across the system. Civilians exhaled in relief. The enemy ships retreated further, unsure how to proceed. Yet the council still hesitated. "Even now," one alien said, "I feel fear. I do not understand them. Their power, it is absolute. And yet, they choose mercy. They choose protection." The captain looked out over the stars, her expression firm. Humanity does not choose power for its own sake. We do not seek glory. We fight to protect, to defend, to preserve life. That is what makes us strong. That is why we survive. That is why the galaxy needs us. But even as her words echoed through the fleet, a shadow moved in the distance. Something ancient, something aware, had noticed the humans. It watched their every move, calculating, patient. The artifact's pulsing energy seemed connected to it, a silent signal reaching across space. The Council realized the truth. Humanity was a force unlike any other in the galaxy. They did not bow to fear, they did not act recklessly, and they did not compromise when lives were at stake. And yet, the greater threat looming beyond the system was something even they would need all their discipline, courage, and ingenuity to confront. The captain issued new orders. Prepare the fleet. Evacuate civilians where necessary. We face more than just remnants of an enemy now. Humanity is ready for the challenges ahead. We will protect life. That is our way. That is our duty. The alien council watched, still trembling, still fearful, and yet amazed. Humanity's resolve, discipline, and skill had not just saved a planet, they had inspired an entire system. And somewhere in the dark void beyond the stars, something waited, patient, and very aware that humans had arrived. The stars were quiet for now. But the calm was only temporary. Humanity had proven itself, yes, but the true test was coming. And when it arrived, they would meet it. Not with fear, not with hesitation, but with the courage, intelligence, and indomitable spirit that made them truly human. And in the silence, one thing was clear. The galaxy would never forget the day humanity arrived. The calm of space shattered once again. From the far edge of the system, a fleet unlike any the humans had ever seen emerged. Massive ships, black as the void, moved with eerie precision. They were ancient, enormous, and silent, yet their presence radiated power that made even the Dreadnoughts seem small. The captain of the lead human ship studied the fleet through the viewport. "This is no ordinary enemy," she said. "They are organized, ancient, and dangerous. But we will face them, as we always have. Humanity does not flee from danger." The alien council shivered. "What are they?" one asked. "We have never seen anything like this." "They are something older than any living memory," another replied. "And they are coming for the artifact." The artifact, pulsing faintly in orbit around the gas giant, had awakened. Its energy signals stretched across space, calling to the ancient fleet. Humanity understood its danger. They could not allow it to fall into the wrong hands. The stakes had never been higher. "Prepare all ships for battle," the captain ordered. "Shields at maximum. Weapons online. Boarding teams ready. And stay calm. Humanity does not fight recklessly, but we fight to win." The Dreadnoughts moved in perfect formation, circling the planet and the artifact. The enemy fleet fired first, massive energy beams cutting through space. The human shields flared, absorbing and redirecting the blasts. Not a single human ship was lost. The enemy's weapons were powerful, but humanity's precision and discipline were unmatched. The alien council watched in awe. "Even with all that power, they survive," one whispered. "They are human." The humans launched counterattacks. Missiles streaked through the void, drones intercepted enemy ships, and energy beams struck only where necessary to disable systems. Every move was coordinated, every action deliberate. The ancient fleet had never faced such calculated, disciplined opposition. They expected chaos and fear, they received strategy and courage. The captain directed her boarding teams to the nearest enemy ship. Pods detached from the Dreadnoughts and glided silently toward the massive hull. Soldiers boarded with skill, moving through dark corridors, neutralizing enemy combatants, and seizing control of critical systems. Every step was precise. Every decision made with the goal of preserving life wherever possible. The alien council could not believe what they saw. "They are not just warriors," one said. "They think faster than their enemy, act faster, and they show mercy. How can this be? Even as the battle raged, the artifact pulsed brighter. The humans realized it was more than a relic. It was a beacon, a signal, perhaps even a weapon of unimaginable power. But the humans did not hesitate. They deployed containment fields, synchronized with the fleet, creating a protective barrier around the artifact. The enemy ships struck, but every attack was deflected or absorbed. Humanity's coordination was flawless. On the planet below, civilians watched the sky. Fires still burned, but hope had returned. The humans above them were not just defenders, they were a promise. A promise that even in the face of overwhelming power, someone could stand and fight for life, for order, for justice. The enemy fleet, sensing their failure to breach human defenses, regrouped for a final assault. Massive energy beams converged on the Dreadnoughts, threatening to overwhelm them. But the humans anticipated this. Shields interlocked, weapons fired in perfect timing, and drones intercepted the largest attacks. One by one, the ancient ships were disabled or captured. Their leaders stared in disbelief. Humanity, though outnumbered, was not just surviving, they were winning. The Alien Council finally spoke in unison, voices trembling with awe. They are not just protectors. They are more than we imagined. Humanity is incredible. The captain stood on the observation deck, her eyes calm. We protect life. We face danger. We do not compromise with cruelty. That is what humanity does. That is why we survive. That is why we win. With one final coordinated strike, the remaining enemy ships were forced to retreat. The artifact's energy stabilized within the containment field. Civilians cheered quietly, aliens gasped in relief, and the Dreadnoughts loomed silently over the planet, victorious yet vigilant. The captain addressed the fleet. Good work. Every life preserved. Every threat neutralized. Humanity does not seek destruction, but we do not bow to fear. We protect life, and we meet any challenge with courage and discipline. That is our way. That is who we are. The Alien Council bowed their heads in respect. We called for peacekeepers, one said softly. We did not expect this. We did not expect humanity. Somewhere in the void, beyond the system, the shadows watched. They had taken notice. But the humans had proven themselves formidable, unyielding, and merciful. And though the threats were ancient and powerful, humanity would meet them, head-on, without fear, and with unmatched courage. The stars were calm once again. For now. But the galaxy had seen something it had never seen before. Humanity had arrived, and it had changed everything. The Dreadnoughts waited silently in orbit, their crew ready for the next threat. And somewhere deep in space, the artifact pulsed, still full of secrets, still alive, but now contained, thanks to humanity's wisdom, courage, and skill. The message was clear: when humanity stands, even the oldest, most powerful threats must think twice. The stars were quiet. For the first time in weeks, the planet below and the surrounding system felt calm. The Alien Council floated in orbit, still shaken, still awed by what they had witnessed. Humanity had not only protected the planet and its people, they had defeated an ancient fleet, contained the artifact, and restored hope in a galaxy where fear had long been the ruler. The captain of the lead dreadnought stood on the observation deck, gazing at the gas giant where the artifact pulsed softly within its containment field. She spoke to the fleet over the communication network. The immediate danger has passed. Civilians are safe. The artifact is contained. Humanity does not rest on victories, but we acknowledge them. Every life preserved is a victory. On the planet, people emerged from shelters and ruins. Children ran through streets once scorched by battle, laughing in disbelief at their survival. Families embraced. Mothers and fathers stared at the sky, watching the immense human dreadnoughts still hovering in orbit. The humans had not just saved them, they had shown them courage, discipline, and mercy on a scale no other species could have. The Alien Council held a silent meeting. They had called for peacekeepers, expecting gentle negotiators. What they had received instead was a lesson in what a species could achieve when courage, intelligence, and discipline were combined. "We have underestimated humanity," one elder admitted. "We thought power alone could frighten. But humans, they wield power with wisdom. They fight not to dominate, but to protect. That is extraordinary." The captain of the Dreadnought watched the council's reactions quietly. She did not need their praise. Humanity did not seek admiration. But she understood the significance. Across the galaxy, word of this battle, of these ships, of these humans, would spread. Not as conquerors, but as guardians. The artifact continued to pulse softly, contained and harmless. The human specialists had analyzed it thoroughly. Its energy had been immense, but the humans' careful planning and precise execution had ensured it posed no further threat, for now. "It will take centuries to fully understand this technology," one specialist said. "But humanity is ready for that challenge when it comes." The Alien Council nodded, respect etched in their faces. "You have changed the course of our history," one said. "Your arrival has inspired hope where there was none. The galaxy has seen a new kind of strength today. Humanity is remarkable." The captain's voice carried over the fleet once more. "Humanity protects life wherever it can. We do not seek glory or conquest. We act with courage, precision, and mercy. That is our way. That is what makes us strong. And that is why the galaxy will survive." Even the civilians began to understand. They told stories of the humans in the streets, of the ships in orbit, of soldiers moving through burning cities without harming anyone. They whispered of courage, of discipline, and of hope. The humans had come as warriors, yes, but they had fought as guardians, as protectors of life. The Alien Council realized something else, too. Humanity had not merely survived the greatest threats the system had ever faced, they had inspired trust. Trust that even in a galaxy filled with darkness, there were beings who would act with reason, courage, and honor. Trust that life, no matter how small, mattered. Far beyond the system, unseen observers in the shadows recorded what had happened. Ancient eyes watched as humanity demonstrated strength tempered by wisdom. The galaxy had seen a new standard, a species that could face impossible odds, confront ancient threats, and still protect the weak. The captain gave her final orders before the fleet prepared to depart. "Civilians are safe. The artifact is contained. Enemy remnants are scattered. Our work here is done, for now. We leave as we arrived, vigilant, ready, and unyielding. Humanity will always rise to meet the darkness, wherever it appears." The Dreadnoughts disengaged from orbit, their massive forms gliding silently into the void. Below, the Alien Council and the planet's people watched in awe, understanding fully for the first time what it meant to call humanity to their aid. And in the quiet of space, a message spread silently across the galaxy. Humanity had arrived, not as conquerors, not as negotiators, but as a force that combined courage, wisdom, and mercy. The galaxy would never forget it. The stars shimmered, reflecting the massive ships gliding among them. Somewhere in the distance, other civilizations took note, and somewhere older, unknown forces paused, wary of the humans who had proven themselves indomitable. The captain looked out at the stars and whispered softly, not to anyone in particular, "Humanity will protect life. We will meet any threat. And we will never falter." The Dreadnoughts vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind a system saved, an artifact contained, and a galaxy reminded that true strength was not measured in weapons alone, but in courage, discipline, and the will to protect others. Humanity had arrived. The galaxy would never be the same.